The movie opens with Michael and his father, both working as morticians. Their job is to cleanse and ready the deceased for burial. In the beginning scene, they're preparing the body of a recently deceased woman. Michael, curious, asks his father about the cause of her death. His father calmly replies, "Son, our responsibility is to prepare the dead for their final rites. It's better we don't concern ourselves with how they died." As they dress her body, Michael notices a bracelet on her wrist and a peculiar, somber-looking devil tattoo inked on her skin. Later that night, Michael meets a friend and shares some personal news. He's planning to enroll in a seminary, a religious institution that trains future priests. His friend is surprised and asks, "Why a priest? You're doing so well academically." Michael explains, "In my family, there are only two paths, be a mortician or a priest. I can't spend my life around corpses, so I've chosen the priesthood. After 4 years, I'll have no excuse left." Time jumps ahead and 4 years pass. The students, including Michael, complete their theological studies and receive their diplomas. That night, Michael writes an email to his father resigning from the church. He's made up his mind to quit the priesthood. Without wasting time, he packs his bag and leaves. While trying to leave on his bicycle, he accidentally hits a young woman. She's flung a short distance and tragically ends up under a van. Severely injured, she lies in agony. Seeing Michael dressed like a priest, she pleads with him, "Please, bless me, so my passing is peaceful." Although reluctant, Michael couldn't deny a dying wish. He quietly gives her a blessing. The next day, he encounters the same woman again, surprisingly alive. She tells him, "I didn't send that resignation letter. And honestly, I think you'd make a great priest. Maybe you're a skilled exorcist. That role carries honor too." She explains that evil forces seem to be increasing in the world and people need spiritual help more than ever. Michael remains unconvinced. "Father," he says, "I'm just not interested in becoming a priest." But the priest informs him that if he backs out, the church will revoke his scholarship and turn it into debt, which he'll have to repay. With no other option, Michael reluctantly agrees to train as an exorcist despite not believing in possession or demons. Still, he accepts the opportunity, mainly for the free travel and a way to kill time. In her first class, the instructor explains that before performing an exorcism, it's vital to determine if the person is suffering from a psychological condition or actual possession, since both can appear similar. Signs of demonic possession often include extreme isolation, ongoing pain, and complete withdrawal from others. During the session, Michael meets a journalist who is attending the course purely for a story. The priest soon realizes Michael doesn't take the idea of exorcism seriously and sends him to meet Father Lotus, an expert in the field. Michael visits Father Lotus' home, which looks old and rundown. Inside, a young girl awaits them. At first glance, she seems perfectly normal to Michael, so he questions how the father knows she's possessed. Father Lotus tells him to hide something, an American dollar, in his bag, though Michael is confused, he does it anyway. When they approach the girl, the priest asks her to guess what Michael has in his bag. She refuses. He insists. Eventually, the demon inside her stirs, and she correctly identifies the hidden dollar. Michael pulls it out, stunned. Father Lotus explains that those under demonic influence can often reveal hidden truths, a major indicator of possession. Then the exorcism begins. Father Lotus places his hand on her head and chants powerful Latin prayers. The demon writhes in pain and hurls curses at the priest, but he doesn't stop. Eventually, through persistence and prayer, the demon's grip weakens and the girl is brought back under control. After they left the house, Michael turned to Father Lucas and asked, "Is it over? Has the demon left her?" The priest shook his head. "Not yet. It's only subdued. For a full exorcism to work, it takes time, along with spiritual strength and patience." Later, back at his dorm, Michael reaches into his pocket and pulls out something unexpected. A bracelet. He immediately recognizes it as the same one worn by the woman whose body he had helped prepare earlier in the film. Confused and disturbed, he decides to visit Father Lucas again the next day for answers. He tells the priest about the bracelet, and they agree to contact the possessed girl again. When they ask her about it, she calmly says it wasn't her who placed the bracelet in Michael's pocket, it was the demon. This revelation triggers Father Lucas to start confronting the demon within her once more. Michael takes the bracelet and ties it around the girl's wrist. As soon as it touches her skin, the demon erupts in fury. The girl's demeanor shifts instantly, and she snarls at Michael, "Do you remember that woman you shook hands with?" She says hello. Chaos breaks out as the demon takes control. She lunges at Michael, grabbing his throat and trying to choke him. Father Lucas quickly intervenes, pinching the girl's ear while reciting sacred verses. The demon reacts violently, causing her to vomit wooden splinters mixed with blood. The moment is horrifying, but eventually she collapses, temporarily calm. For a brief second, it seemed like the demon had been expelled, but it hadn't. It was just dormant. This encounter leaves a lasting impression on Michael. His skepticism about exorcisms begins to waver. The next day, Father Lucas asks him to accompany him on another exorcism. Before leaving, the priest hands Michael an umbrella, even though the skies are clear. Michael finds it odd, but sure enough, as they head out, rain begins to fall. They arrive at the home of a young girl claiming that a demonic horse has been tormenting her. She has bruises on her back like she'd been kicked by a hoof. Clearly distressed, she looks to them for help. Father Lucas starts the ritual, and once it's over, the girl leans over and whispers something eerie to her mother. Whatever she says prompts the woman to slap her, demanding she never speak of it again. After the ordeal, Michael and Father Lucas return home. Soon after, the priest receives an urgent call. Rosaria, the very first patient he treated, has attempted suicide and is now in a hospital abroad. Her condition has deteriorated rapidly and medical staff can't manage her. By the time they arrive, Rosaria is completely overtaken. Her voice is turned guttural and unnatural. As the priest tries to begin the ritual, Rosaria pushes him away and snarls, "You're all afraid of me." Michael, in defiance, responds, "I'm not." This enrages the demon, and the exorcism becomes more intense. Father Lucas does what he can to regain control, but the moment is tense. Once they leave, the priest scolds Michael. Challenging a demon directly could have ruined everything, but Michael doesn't regret it and walks away. The following morning, Rosaria is shown again. This time, she's barely human. Fully consumed by the demonic force, she's isolated and restrained. Still, she drags herself to the emergency alarm. When staff finally reach her, it's too late. Rosaria and her unborn child are both dead. Father Lucas is devastated. The tragedy hits him hard, shaking his own faith. For the first time, it seems like even he might need an exorcism. Later, Michael meets with the journalist he had befriended earlier and recounts everything. Rosaria's possession, her slow descent into madness, and how the exorcisms couldn't save her. He admits he still doesn't know what to believe, whether what happened was supernatural or just a series of terrible events. That night, Michael returns to his dorm room and falls asleep. But in his dream, he's back in his old mortuary, dressed as a mortician, shaking a corpse. Suddenly, a disturbing figure appears, an old man with grotesque hands. The man extends one hand as if expecting Michael to kiss it. Just before he does, the figure grabs Michael's face and begins to strangle him. Michael gasps awake, shaken. It was just a nightmare, but a deeply disturbing one, leaving him even more unsettled than before. If you want to see part 2 to this, get us to 20 likes.